everyone, and welcome to the special installment of World War III streams today. I'm Alexey, executive producer for World War III on MY.GAMES side, and we have a very special guest with us today. Kamil, how are you doing?
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Kamil and I'm World War III project lead and creative director. So it is a pleasure to talk with you today.
It's a pleasure indeed, and thank you for finding time to be with us today, because today, guys, we've prepared a special treat for you. And this something is called the Veteran Alpha Test. But first, let's just a little bit take a minute and talk about the format of what we're doing today. We've prepared this short presentation to finally tell you about what we have been doing for the last 2 years, and to invite you to some special testing phase that is going to happen this week. We've combined the presentation together with Kamil, and we will be talking about the main features and the main additions to World War III that we have been working on. But just before moving forward, let's talk a little bit about the background, because we have to refresh it for people who just joined us and for people who are not that familiar with the Farm 51 and World War III. So the Farm 51 studio, and we have no one better to tell us about what this is than the creative director for the Farm 51, Kamil, please.
Yes, thank you. So I try to make this as quick as possible. So the Farm 51 company was established in 2005. We always specialize on first-person shooter games. Before World War III, we developed more than 10 games for PC, consoles, and VRs. But besides games, we also had some fruitful cooperation with defense industry. And that was one of the reasons why we started World War III project, to be honest.
Okay, I know. So as developers, you probably love your old projects the same way, but I'm a fan of World War III, apologies. So let's talk about the project background as well. World War III is a multiplayer tactical online FPS that is developed in Unreal Engine 4 and by the Farm 51 studio Kamil just told us about. Do you have anything to add to that, Kamil?
I think that the most important, aspect of the World War III comparing to other FPS shooters in the market is the tactical feeling of the game, which makes the infantry and vehicles gameplay in objective-oriented game modes to bring a more authentic feeling of the modern infantry combat when we are playing the game actually. Another very important aspect of World War III is a playable realism formula, because we want to deliver a game who is perfectly balancing realism with fun. And I hope that we already find this, perfect sweet spot in World War III. You will have occasion to check this on Veterans Week. But, in the show description, World War III today, after the early access and many improvements and changes and so on, it's, in my opinion, a dynamic and tactical-oriented battlefield experience in general. Yes, a military FPS who is focusing on dynamic firefights and fast tactical cooperation on battlefield, and some realistic, war scenarios like, environment, gear, weapons, and so on and so on. So that's what makes the World War III quite unique and special from my point of view.
Thank you, and it is special indeed. So thank you for this summary. Playable realism is actually something very interesting to talk about, but when you were talking, you mentioned weapons. And I've just remembered the coolest thing, that you guys actually use real 3D scanners to create replicas of all the equipment in the game, all the weapons in the game, and then, well, probably construct the best, most realistic arsenal ever in gaming. Is that so? And can you tell us just a little bit about weapons and the versatility of weapons in the game? Kamil?
So there is a wide variety of guns and attachments in World War III, because of reasons, yes. We want to help you to find a right tool and tactics for every battle by, changing your weapon's appearance from gameplay and visual perspective. So this is a combination of cosmetics and gameplay attachments to craft your weapon to something super cool, who fits to your personal preferences as a player, and so on and so on. So I think that we are achieving with this feature of the game something really great, and I'm proud of this.
Okay, thank you. So I already have my favorite weapons in the game, which I am going to be using, by the way, during the Veterans Alpha test coming soon. But, as a tactical fan, I know that it's not just about weapons, it's also about your gear, always about your gear. So let's talk a little bit about character customization. But before we switch to Kamil commenting on that, we've prepared for you a short video.
Dress to impress, even in the heat of battle. World War III features a massive range of uniforms and customization options to keep you looking fresh for the fight. Join us as we take a closer look at everything on offer in this feature spotlight, including how to create your own playable character. Military uniforms are used to help distinguish allies and civilians from enemy combatants. In World War III, they're an important part of your player identity. It was important that we take a grounded approach to wearable gear to reflect how soldiers in a conflict of this scale might look like in the real world. Our artists at the Farm 51 work with 3D scanners to scan and reproduce realistic objects in World War III. Lots of different items, including boots and pouches, go through an R-Tech 3D scanner. But scanning is only the beginning. Lots of additional design work is performed by the developers too. They create some uniforms from scratch and clean up and rework certain elements as needed. Even after scanning is complete, they create textures entirely by hand. Different military uniforms have been faithfully recreated in World War III, including ones based on real military operators. You can also mix and match your look with camouflage, suited for combat in a range of different environments, including urban areas, snowy regions, and more. And there's a wealth of customization options to help you craft the very best stylish loadouts. Choose your uniform, then mix and match different customization options like head and face gear, torso gear, gloves, pants, and war paint to create your ultimate soldier. As you can see, customization is easier and more intuitive than ever before, thanks to the brand new UI we've been working on. To show our appreciation to the early access players who helped define World War III, we're also preparing some exclusive cosmetics to showcase your veteran status on the battlefield. Stay tuned for more on that. We've got more intel coming your way in the weeks and months ahead, so stay frosty.
I mean, guys, this is really awesome. This is something that I cannot just wait to try during our upcoming test. But there's a huge versatility in guns. Okay, we established that. Also, as you've seen, we can use different gear on our characters to combine it and make the most realistic impersonations of real soldiers. But what else is there on the battlefield? Let me tell you that these are strikes. This is probably my favorite part of the game. This is something that you actually use when you have completed some objectives, killed some enemies, worked towards victory, get special points. And you use those points to get something that is awesomeness impersonated, like, I don't know, a main battle tank or a helicopter. But let's hear a little more about what strikes are and how to get them from Kamil.
Yes, we have an extensive selection of tactical strikes in-game who can be used in combat, from UFO radars to jammers, to spot your enemy or jam enemy communication. Vehicles and drones are also available in-game. to reflect a real layer of modern tactical combat. So if you want to make a big bang, for example, like artillery, eye strike, and bombs can be also unleashed on the vehicles or enemies. But to have access to all those toys, you must deserve on it, and that's make World War III gameplay very unique and methodical comparing to other first-person shooters, in the market. And simply, World War III is not just a sandbox with tanks. It's something more real in terms of gameplay experience, and this is something that we are really proud.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are. And okay, so we've been talking about weapons. We've been talking about what is happening and where it is happening exactly. And this is one of the important elements of the game. And I'm talking, of course, about maps. I can tell you that we've completely reworked all the maps that are currently in the game. Like if you compare the version that came out to early access in 2018, you will see not just differences, you will see a whole other project. And now let us show you a little video for the first time.
Polarny, Berlin, Moscow, Warsaw, Smolensk. Prepare to explore the key battlegrounds of World War III in this feature spotlight. World War III is centered around a massive global conflict. Every map is based on real cities and towns, from iconic capitals to rural areas. While designing these maps, it was important for us to consider how an armed conflict might change the appearance of these locations. You might stumble across a downed plane while fighting in Warsaw. If you venture into the heart of Berlin, you'll see the aftermath of a huge explosion. The iconic red square is recognizable but lies in a state of ruin. Other areas like Smolensk, Polarny are clearly prepared for war. We wanted to realistically recreate their real-world geography while rebalancing these places to make them suitable for multiplayer combat. In some cases, we prioritized a smooth gameplay experience over devout realism. Obstacles and different pathways are used to balance the gameplay in multiplayer, while engineering different combat scenarios, such as long-range battles, use of vehicles, and close-quarter brawls. It's a little different to the real world, but we wanted to make it just as immersive. We've been gathering feedback from early access veterans, and we're pleased to announce some other cool new changes to maps in World War III. Good lighting is integral to multiplayer shooters, where you're constantly scanning your surrounding for enemy movement. We've tweaked and rebalanced the lighting intensity and exposure, ambient lighting, albedo levels, and more to improve your experience on maps like Smolensk, Polarny, and Warsaw and Moscow. The clouds over Berlin have even given way to a sunny day. Traversing maps is now much smoother as you're vaulting and climbing obstacles on your way to your objectives. We've also opened up a lot of new passages, cover, and different areas to offer new tactical possibilities. Thanks for watching this transmission. We'll have even more behind-the-scenes footage to reveal in the near future, so stay tuned.
Amazing, guys. I mean, I've been living in Moscow my whole life, and when I'm playing World War III on the Moscow map, I can actually reimagine the red square that I took pictures on. So we've reworked all the maps, and I like the sunny Berlin as well. But this is a surprise slide for Kamil. Do we have any new things coming up in maps regard, Kamil?
Yes. So new maps are in development indeed. and some of them will be the part of the final release. But the most important work for us in the last years was improvements done for the already released maps, to improve them from the artistic, and gameplay perspective, based on players' feedback from the, playtest sessions, and the feedback which we have from the players during the early access, part of the game, and so on. So what I can say, yes, new maps are much better in terms of artistic quality, gameplay, quality, and from optimization point of view. But once again, thank you so much for your feedback, because we will never achieve such a point without, your cooperation. Yes, cooperation with the players around the world. How to make actually those maps, more playable and much better in general. So thank you again. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Kamil, and thank you for finding time to be here with us today, because we've learned a lot of important information from you, and we are honored to have you here, as well as every one of you. And I remind that we are having a very special stream right now. We are unveiling some mysteries about WW3, and we have the main mystery still ahead of us. So allow me to tell you a couple words about what is going to be happening on those maps that we've just shown you. And we have two main modes to play during the Veteran Alpha test, which is Tactical Operation, a revisioned Warzone mode that used to be an early access game in 2018, but now we've added a lot more tacticality to it. We've changed the maps so they are more appropriate for it, and we think that you'll love it. And also there's a Team Deathmatch mode, which I think you all know and enjoy. This is everyone's favorite meat grinder, right? Get kills or get lost. So, we've talked about modes, we've talked about maps and customization and everything else, but tell me please, when you hear FPS, first-person shooter game, what do you think are two main things in it? And I can tell you that they are movement and gunplay. And let's start with movement. We decided, while we were doing the rework on World War III, to take and completely change the movement. We wanted players to move swiftly and smoothly through all the maps. We've redesigned the animations countless times. We've added new mechanics. We've added double sprint. We've added vaulting. We've added proning. I mean, that feels completely different from the game that we had before. And also, we completely optimized it technically. And now when I come to play the early access version of the game, it actually feels completely different from moving on the maps in the version that you will be able to see this week. But also, let's talk about gunplay, because gunplay is the core, right? It's a shooter game, so you shoot. And basically, we reworked the recoil for all the weapons. We reworked all the weapons themselves in order to be as adjustable to our concept of playable realism that Kamil was talking about. And now we feel that it truly feels unique. And also, additionally, we've added a lot of new mechanics and technical optimization to the shooting, so now you will not feel those stutters and some things that actually annoyed us in the version that we had before. But we went further. With that, we went further, and we thought, you know, this moment in the game when you really like the gameplay, but something seems a little bit off. Like this button, it shouldn't be there. Or this feature, it actually should be there. And I am talking about quality of life improvements. We went through the whole game, and then we went through all of your feedback, and we tried to understand what is missing, like what should be reworked. And so we completely reworked the HUD, because we felt that it was something that was missing from, just good player experience. And then we've heard your comments about, not just knowing who just killed me, because the time to kill is pretty fast. And then we added the after-death kill cam, and now you will be able to see who exactly did that. And also, we've completely optimized the minimap, because you always want to understand where exactly on our awesome map you are. And it also shows floors, by the way. But we went further than that, and we went to UI optimizations and UI reworks. We felt that the initial UI of the game, of the early access version, it was a little bit complicated. It was nice, but a little bit complicated for the new players especially. So we tried to simplify all the controls and all the UI itself to be able to orient yourself pretty easily and pretty quickly in it. We made a completely user-friendly interface. Like right now, when I log in World War III, I immediately understand where I want to go to do the following things: to customize my character, to play a game, to choose a weapon. Anything is available through just a couple clicks. And we've optimized the main menu as well. Now it's a little bit simpler than it was, but I actually like it better. You will be able to see that soon. And talking about maps, which we were before, we've also worked specifically and separately on their optimization. Because Kamil can support me here that lighting and actual tech on the maps is one of the most important things for enjoyable player experience. So we took a complete different set of specialists there, and we went to each map and we fixed all the things that we could find and optimized all the little parts of it, so now it should look like a smooth and tighter battle experience. And what I was telling you about today and what Kamil told us today, this could be also the full material for a revamped version of the game, but we're not done yet. And let me tell you a couple words about progression. We have been talking about reworking things from the scratch today, and this is one of them. What progression used to be. In WW3, it was all around factions and leaderboards and actually completing different goals for your faction to help it win the world war. But we felt that the war is always more about soldiers, more about personal experience of a player and of his character. So we decided to rework this completely and to move to a new way of things, to new meta gameplay that you are going to experience firsthand. We went to character progression and weapon progression. So in the renewed progression of WW3, you will be able to fully level your character. You will be able to unlock all the guns that are in our arsenal that we were talking about. And you will be able to unlock all the attachments and customization for them. And this is the heart of our cooperation with Farm 51 and of our agreements, this will all be completely achievable and attainable through in-game means. So basically, you just play the game and you will essentially have all the guns and all the attachments in it. But this is just stage 1 of your progression, because stage 2 is making your own gun. And not too many games allow that. So we call that Universal Weapon Playground. You get all the attachments for your favorite weapon, you go into customization screen, and then you make your favorite assault rifle into basically an SMG. So something that is completely suitable for close quarter combat. Or you want a marksman rifle, but you actually don't like marksman rifles for some reason, so you make one out of your assault rifle, and this will be a completely different gun. But on top of that, you also can customize every little part of the weapon completely differently using our customization techniques. So forget the skins for the weapons. In here, you can create your own skins, and that's essentially what you will be doing. Now, guys, we've been talking a lot today about a lot of features and things that we reworked and added to WW3, but let's back to the roots. Let's get back to what we started today's discussion with, today's stream with, and now is the most important part probably, so turn up your volume. We are talking about veteran alpha tests. So what is that exactly? We really value your support from 2018 when we released in early access. What we did with your feedback helped us to move forward and turn WW3 in the game it is right now. And that is why we want you, our trusted veterans, to be the first people to hit the battlefield. Veteran Alpha Test is exclusively for you, and this is only for you. So sadly, guys, you who are not our veterans, guys who have no game on Steam right now, you will not be able to be a part of this test, but I promise that we are going to have more tests for you soon. As for our veterans, and you are considered a veteran if you have the game on Steam right now, you will be able to join the test really soon, and you will be able to first-hand experience both our modes, Tactical Operation and Team Deathmatch, and 4 of our maps in limited access: Berlin, Polarny, Moscow, and Warzone. You will be able to play on all of those tomorrow. So the test starts tomorrow, guys, and I just can't wait to play with you together. I think that this will be an amazing experience, but the game is not done yet, so we really still do, we really value your feedback, and we want your feedback to be given to us. Give it through social media, give it under this stream, give it everywhere you like, and especially, if possible, fill in the survey after you've done playing. That will immensely help us. All our veteran players will automatically receive access to Veteran Alpha Test tomorrow, and let's just have a blast with WW3. Now guys, fall out and see you on the battlefield.